pose the question now to Nick. Nick, what are some of the challenges here to implementation, and where are you seeing resistance? And we'll see. I think you might talk about some of the things we've just heard here in this room.
Yeah, I'm seeing the need for proper training of our subs, especially in installing heat pump water heaters and HVAC heat pumps. So the time is now for you home builders in your local markets to reach out to your key subs who've always been there for you and tell them, hey, we see this as a potential direction our market's going. Let's partner with your favorite manufacturer, and let's get some training going on how to install heat pump water heaters, some training going on how to install ducted mini split heat pumps, ductless mini split heat pumps, training on how to install solar and battery with critical load panels or smart panels. Get those skills starting to bubble up in your trade group, and then you'll be ready for when you flip that switch.
Okay, what do you want to add to that?
Yeah, Nick hit it right on the head. Same as I was going to say is our company at Ring, we are focused on the trade, on training the trade on sustainability practices and products. And so we started this road about 3 years ago. Our goal is to train 250,000 contractors, plumbers, just on these type products, heat pump, water heating products, heat pump, air conditioning, and so forth, and any sustainability product. So I think that's the first challenge we saw is making sure the installer is comfortable with it, that they're bringing you a fair price from their installation standpoint. And so the other challenge is definitely overcoming that first cost and those first objections.
So it's almost kind of a game of chicken in that the builders are saying, I don't know if I want to do this because my subs don't know how to do it.
Right.
The subs are probably saying, well, I don't want to spend all the time training because none of my builders are asking me to do it yet. So you're trying to kind of bring those together?
Exactly. That's it. You know, we're doing on-site training. We're doing it at our factories. We have innovation learning centers where we're trying to just bring that technology and overcoming that hurdle, that knowledge hurdle of this technology that's been around for a long time. Everybody's got a heat pump in their home with their refrigerator and their freezer, and so it's not new technology, but it's just that applied differently with a water heater.
Other thoughts?
For me, you know, we would be the sub on property. So, you know,
you're ready. You're right. Call us.
But, you know, for guys like Ryan over here that do modular homes, we'll train his guys in the facilities on what to do to get their houses ready, whether they want to put solar on the modular homes before they go out of factory, or if they're going to do it on property. So there's things that we can help with that for sure. But challenges implementation, when I see that, I mean, we just saw it. Everyone out here wants, you know, a gas range or something like that, which so do I. So I'm not going to fight that at all. But you know, the biggest implementation challenges I think is getting the education out there for what all of this really is and how it helps your guys' customer at the end of the day. So
yeah. Hold on, let's get the microphone over for you.
So I was just going to say, one that we just did that's in PG&E territory, he just found out, he did his plans last year and everything was done, and now he just got a big kick to the stomach. They're not going to even allow that right now. So we had to redo all of his stuff to electric. So his plan is, he's like, well, fine, then I'm just going to have an island in my backyard and I'm going to cook up propane. So if people want flame, they do. Some do. Some don't care, you know? So just preference.
Yeah. Over here.
What's the average cost difference between an on-demand hot water heater technology and the heat pump technology? Because obviously that's going to affect, you know, everyone in this room's margin and kind of how we look at, you know, the average cost of the home. And then two, how has the technology evolved to effectively heat and cool in cold weather climates? My understanding of heat pump was it didn't do well in cold weather environments.
Sure. First question, is the cost difference? Generally, just product to product, for just a heat pump from tankless gas, about 2 times. It's usually what I say. But then I guess you got to look at the whole environment. There's You don't have the venting that you have to do with tankless products. Of course, all the gas lines, your costs for bringing that into your neighborhood. So there's different trade-offs, but just from a product to product, about 2x from that standpoint. And your second question was?
And to clarify, which one's 2x more?
The heat pump water heating is 2x more in the market, sorry. And your second question was? Cold weather, yeah. So most of the heat pump water heaters in the market, including ours, are their operating range is down to about 37, 38 degrees, and then on the hot end up to about 140. Generally, where you may run into issues are in garage installations where it may drop below that 37 degrees. That's why it is a hybrid technology. So if it does fall below that operating range, you do have the backup traditional resistance elements to kick in from that standpoint. But most installations, whether it's a basement generally, even if it's unconditioned, is going to be in the 50-degree range, or an attic. You're not going to get very much higher than that 140 from that standpoint. So there's not a lot of installation locations you're going to run into problems. And there is a NEA spec out there. That's the Northwest Energy Efficiency Alliance. It is a cold climate spec that our product meets from that standpoint, taking into account for those.
So the question was, what about the ducted technology, heat pump technology?
Yes, sorry, I'm on the water side. I can't answer that question.
We will have the next session tomorrow. We'll talk about some of the air stuff. We got a representative from.
Come by booth 314. We'll talk.
Going back to his first question, though, even though it's 2 times more expensive as a product, how does that then look for total cost of ownership? When does that break even come into play?
Sure. So if you look at, I always say refer to your energy guide label. If you look at a heat pump water heater, 50-gallon heat pump water heater, your average annual cost of operation is about $104. Compare that to an electric resistance water heater, it's going to be around $450 for a similar, $425, $450. For a tankless, probably going to be in that $200 to $225 range. So you're looking at from a payback from that standpoint is about $100 to $200, depending on which product you're looking at, up to $350 compared to electric. That's where the utility incentives have really come in to help bridge that gap. Standing alone, it still has a great payback period, but once you see some of these utilities are putting $500 up to $1,000, to help buy down that first cost, it really comes down to less than 2-year payback period.
And then if you're solar, how do you piggybacking on that? What's kind of your argument there?
Well, I mean, solar is going to be a savings play long term, no matter what. So I mean, you guys, solar is an add-on, right? It's going to be an add-on. Like you're not taking something away to put solar on. So it's always going to be an add-on. But there's a huge reason for why it works out for you guys, and hopefully I get to talk to a lot of you in the next couple of days about how that works. But anything electric that goes into the house, solar is going to help curve whatever that extra cost is over time anyways. So there's a long-term savings play for any homeowner that has solar on their house compared to the endless fees that you have if you have natural gas or just electric without solar, right? The utilities are going to charge whatever they want to charge, and there isn't a single time that I can remember that utilities have decreased rates so drastically that it makes cool things like this obsolete. So my say for that would be solar is going to save all of these things that these guys do. Solar is going to save your customer money over time for the next 30 years easily. So.
We're lucky on the software side. Our payback is immediate because we have a free app. So that's pretty great. But we do have some challenges on the implementation side. Because it's so new, I'll give you an example, right? So all of our Samsung appliances report their own energy directly into SmartThings Energy. Our mini split heat pumps, ductless, do report their energy right into SmartThings Energy, which is great. But if you're using products from another company, one of our competitors or whatever, they may not necessarily be integrated into this model. And so one of the challenges we have are we've integrated other energy monitoring devices so we can measure a circuit in your panel or 4 circuits in your panel. And we have a number of ways to get at other sources of energy consumption in the home. So we get at it, but it's not as easy as we would like. The second challenge we have is that in order to convert this to savings for the homeowner, we really have to connect you to your utility so that you could, right through the SmartThings app, connect to your utility account and connect the two accounts together so that now you're automating based on the information directly from the utility. So if the high rate period is from 5 to 8 p.m., at 5 p.m., that could be a trigger to cut energy. And then we have things like artificial intelligence mode that you can run your appliances in and lots of other cool technologies. But definitely some challenges with a very fragmented energy industry.
Yeah, so those are the challenges all to just implementing it.